Granny Marmalade and Uncle Tractor, a celebration of food and farming. Granny Marmalade and Uncle Tractor. Granny Marmalade and Uncle. Granny Marmalade has a jam factory full of huge, shiny saucepans, a fridge as big as a garden, a fridge as big as a garden shed, hundreds and hundreds of jam jars, and lots of brown sacks full of sugar, spices, and silky flour. Her factory is in a large wooden framed bar next door to the old farmhouse, which she shares with her son, Uncle Tractor. Just up the lane lives her friendly little grandson, Jasper. There was always music and laughter in Granny Marmalade's busy kitchen. All year round she can be found creating delectable concoctions, sweet sticky jam, wibbly wobbly jellies, spicy scented chutneys, and and of course her favourite, marmalade. When cooking, Granny Marmalade likes to wear her dungarees, stripy socks, and a brightly coloured scarf to wrap up her long hair. And that was Granny Marmalade. And Uncle Tractor. Uncle Tractor has a ginormous red tractor with tires that weigh as much as 10 elephants, and an engine as loud as a dragon's roar. All year round, he tends to the land and cares for the animals on the farm. He has big bristly pigs. He has big bristly pink pigs, black-faced sheep, and a herd of pedigree cattle. Granny Marmalade has a flock of hens and an enormous cockerel called Cecil. Jasper has Jasper has two pet ducks called Pesto and Jasper has two pet ducks called Jasper has two pet ducks called Pesto and Nutmeg. Uncle Tractor is proud of his powerful tractor. In the cab is a fridge where he hides his lunch, and a radio that keeps him company. Uncle Tractor wears work clothes. He has 7 pairs of blue overalls, one for each day of the week, and thick warm socks that Granny Marmalade knitted for him. January. Granny Marmalade loves January. Big wooden crates of sea vial oranges from sunny Spain, glossy Sicilian lemons, and tight-skinned tangerines from Tangier, and delivered to the kitchen for her to turn into delicious marmalades. In her warm, fragrant kitchens, she cuts, chops, and juices huge piles of fruit and boils it up in big steaming pans. Just the right amount of sugar is added to this murky brew, which bubbles and burps until glossy and thick. Last of all, she pours it into shiny glass jars ready to be bought by marmalade lovers from Sussex, from West Sussex to Siberia. On the dark evenings, Granny Marmalade repairs the scarecrow that keeps the birds from eating the fruit and vegetables in the kitchen garden. She dresses it in a pair of Uncle Tractor's old overalls stuffed with straw, and a hat she found at a jumble sale, and a pair of dark glasses. Jasper had named the scarecrow Bert. Hurrah! It's marmalade time again! An American breakfast idea. Toast the muffin and spread with butter and orange marmalade, topped with very crispy, streaky bacon. Good on a really cold winter's day. As a pudding, steamed vanilla sponge with warmed marmalade poured over the top. Perhaps custard too. January. Uncle Tractor loves marmalade. He has it for breakfast on thick slices of toast before he goes off to work. Uncle Tractor does not like January. On some mornings, he would prefer to stay in bed under his snug duvet. He puts on 2 pairs of socks, a woolly hat, and great big gumboots. Before getting into his tractor, he turns on the radio and to check the forecasts and puts the heater on to keep his feet warm. Winter is a harsh time for Uncle Tractor's animals. The cold makes them hungrier than ever. When the fields are bare of grass but too wet and sorry for the cows to graze, Uncle Tractor has a never-ending job of bringing them sweet hay or steamy, smelly silage to eat in the shelter of their cozy byre. He also does a lot of hedge cutting before the birds arrive to build their nests in spring. Sometimes when the snow clogs the lane, Uncle Tractor rescues the cars that get stuck. He tows them out of trouble with his powerful tractor and helps their grateful drivers on their way. February. On dank days, when there is not much jam to prepare, Granny Marmalade loves making soap. She used knobbly bobbly Jerusalem artichokes and sturdy leeks that have weathered the winter underground in a corner of the vegetable patch. Artichokes are their sweetest at the time of year, and Granny Marmalade transforms them into delicious soup to sell at the farmer's market. If there is enough left over she fills a flask for Uncle Tractor to take for his lunch. She cooks the soup in a big cauldron that bubbles on the hob. She stirs it with a wooden spoon that is at least a metre long. Pancake time comes round again, and lemons are at their peak. Granny Marmalade loves to have fun, flip-flopping pancakes at a big flat, sizzling frying pan, and then swirling them with sugar and shivery lemon juice. For a change, she crams them with a warm jam made from pears and that have been carefully stashed away in the cool, dark cellar since last autumn. Granny Marmalade makes smooth silk curd out of the lemons that are left over. She keeps a pot for herself and Jasper to eat straight from the jar when no one is looking. Thoughts. Some February thoughts. An interesting addition to a bowl of soup. Cut stale bread into small cubes. Toast in an equal mix of out on a baking tray and toast in the oven till they turn brown and crispy. Pancakes. Good fillings, lemon and lavender marmalade, cinnamon and pears, chocolate and orange curd. February again. Uncle Tractor has lots more to finish before the spring brings a flurry of new season's activity on the farm. Now is the time to sow the seeds for this year's harvest. Beans are planted in regimental rows of the sunny-sided south face. The sunny-sided south face. The feed on a sunny, on the very time to these harvest. The beans are planted in regimental rows on sunny-sided south-facing slopes. The flat, fertile fields, sunny-sided south-facing. The Uncle Tractor takes a silver-bladed plough and carves deep furrows in the cold, compacted soil. He loves to see the seagulls. Deep furrows in the cold, compacted soil. He loves to see the seagulls wheeling and circling in the sky behind the tractor, gobbling up the worms turned up by his plough. By the end of each long day, he likes to take off his gum boots and warm himself in front of the crackling fire. Very crackling. March. Granny Marmalade begins to prepare for a busy time in her kitchen. Chirpy birdsongs wake her up early. The days have lengthened and spring is around the corner. If the weather is mild by the end of March, spiky wild garlic covers the river banks with a scented carpet of freshly green leaves and starry white flowers. Granny Marmalade makes the most delicious pesto from wild garlic. Slender stems of rose pink rhubarb have also pushed their way into the world, hidden from view during the chilly winter. They are now ready to be made into the year's first batch of jam. As a treat for hungry Uncle Tractor when he comes home, Granny Marmalade cooks rhubarb tucked under crunchy crumble for an extra special treat. She serves it with cream provided by the cows on the farm. In March, on the farm, new lives are beginning. The barn is full of urgent, soft sound of bleating lambs. Most of the sheep have lovely little twins. Occasionally, Granny Marmalade helps Uncle Tractor to deliver triplets. The lambs, still unsteady on their legs, stay close to their mothers in the safe, warm shelter until they are strong enough to skip and gambol in the meadows. When it's too wet to get out in the fields, Uncle Tractor tinkers around in the workshop mending the farm machinery. Jasper loves to come and watch. On days when Uncle Tractor is not too busy, He lets Jasper sit beside him in the tractor cab. Now it is time to make sure the tractors for rain, harvest, and other equipment are in working order. The enormous green combine is primed, ready for the harvest. Later in the year, he'll be in the fields working day and night. April. The vegetable garden needs digging in preparation for planting summer crops. Granny Marmalade grows loads of striped courgettes for her chutneys, and at least 3 varieties of tomatoes in her greenhouse. She will sow fuzzy blue cornflowers and golden marigolds between the rows of vegetables, and stand Bert the scarecrow among the lettuces to keep the pigeons from eating the tender seedlings. If the weather is warm and spring starts early, the first clusters of elderflower appear around the edges of the field, and alongside the lanes, whirly hop fronds are beginning to twist and turn through the hedgerows, and the sun starts its steady climb towards Midsummer Heights. Granny Marmalade and her little whitish dog Poppy love to go for an early morning walk and pick the first lacy-headed blossoms to infuse her jams and jellies with their fragrant scent. April. As the days begin to lengthen, Uncle Tractor gets up a little earlier so he can get through the increasing demands on the farm. The chickens must be let out of their ark. Cecil the cockerel has been crowing encouragement for the day to unfold since the first shaft of spring sunshine pierced the horizon. April showers have helped the lush spring grass to shoot up, and Uncle Tractor trundles up and down the fields with his heavy, clanky roller levelling out the deep ruts. The weeds need tamming. The weeds need tamming. They will strangle the grass unless Uncle Tractor gets there first and nips them off with a chopper. By now the sheep and cattle have been liberated from their winter quarters. Before the day is done, Uncle Tractor takes Jasper down to the meadows alongside the rear to check that the ewes and their lambs are safe and contented. May is an exciting, bustly, busy time in Granny Marmalade's kitchen. Her friend David grows the most best asparagus in the whole wide world. He has been carefully watching for the first signs of this mysterious plant to peep above the soil. Asparagus appears secretly under the cover of mild spring nights and can grow up to 15 centimeters by daybreak. David and his team of helpers use special sharp-bladed knives to cut the plump spears off at ground level before placing them carefully in shallow wicker baskets ready to be tied in bundles to sell in his busy farm shop. Granny Marmalade has been getting ready to make pots and pots of rich, buttery Hollandaise sauce to guzzle with the tender green asparagus spears. By mid-June, when the asparagus season ends, she will have used 300 kilos of salty butter and 5,000 freshly laid hen eggs. Granny Marmalade and her team of cooks have been waiting patiently for new seasons produce. The kitchen is now aglow with brightly coloured cherry tomatoes and plum green peppers are turned into tasty chutneys, and hot tongue-tingling pickles. May. Uncle Tractor has long, hard-working days ahead of him. So every morning he makes himself an enormous packed lunch. He likes sandwiches made from big, billowy white loaf cut into hunks that are at least 8 centimetres deep and bulging with cheese and Granny Marmalade's pickle. Afterwards he has 2 large wedges of cake filled with raspberry jam. The fields sway with grass that is so long it reaches the top of Uncle Tractor's gumboots. That is big. It is time for him and his friend Grant to make tons of silage. They set off at the crack of dawn and do not get back until night has fallen. The men take it in turns to drive the forager as the grass cascades out of the chute. It is collected in the trailer. The silage is piled up into mountain heaps and then covered with tarpaulins to mature into the silage is piled up and is piled up into mountain heaps and covered with tarpaulins to mature into a pungent winter feast for the cows. Now the daytime has lengthened. The chickens lay eggs every day. They have free range of the yard. So Granny Marmalade asks Jasper to help hunt for their well-hidden nests. She's clever and knows where to look, and may find as many as 24. She sells them to passers-by at the farm gate. Okay, everybody. Oh wait, this last one. June, then July, then we done. Okay, June. At last, Granny Marmalade has seen the efforts of her hard work and patience sprouting in the vegetable garden. Finger-sized cucumbers peep from under the prickly leaves. Radishes swell to rosy globes and beans dangle downwards as the sun rises higher. Granny Marmalade has netted the strawberry bed and raspberry canes to protect the fruit from pecking birds and nibbling mice. Jasper loves picking strawberries and popping the juiciest ones into his mouth before Granny Marmalade misses them. June is a month of celebrations Granny Marmalade and Uncle Tractor have birthdays. They all invite all their favourite people to a picnic by the river. Granny Marmalade bakes a cake 3 layers deep, crammed with jam and crusty clotted cream. Uncle Tractor decorates his tractor. Uncle Tractor decorates his own tractor and trailer with streamers and streamers and bunches of trailers and bunches of flowers. He helps Granny Marmalade their happy friends, family, and Poppy into the trailer, and everyone trundles to the meadow for the fun and games. June. Warm summer days mean hot sheep. It is time for Uncle Tractor to share his flock of woolly ewes. The clipper clatter as the fleeces are shorn, revealing soft and creamy summer coats. The sheep are impatient for the turn to be over so they can wriggle free and return to their fields. It is the height of the hay-making season, and the air is filled with the farm during the busy summer months. The men, women work long hours, late into the evenings. Granny Marmalade brings a hard-working, hungry team a jug of refreshing lemonade, clinking with ice, and a basket of peppery pork pies and peppery pork cold sausages. Okay, everybody, that's the book finished today. So bye-bye, everyone, and thank you for listening to this wonderful Granny Marmalade and Uncle Tractor book. Trust me, if I didn't read it, it would have been going on for years. Maybe even centuries. Maybe all the way up to 158958. Bye, everyone, and thank you for listening to this.